There's some more bad news for the Hillary Clinton campaign. So, according to a poll by NBC News and the Wall Street Journal, 33% of Bernie Sanders supporters cannot see themselves supporting Hillary Clinton in the general election. This is very, very problematic for her, and this is another reason why the unelectability myth that keeps perpetuating about Bernie Sanders is just false. Because if you have that large of a percentage of Democratic voters not willing to support a candidate that the Democratic Party puts forward, that's really troubling. And furthermore, another troubling aspect about the Hillary Clinton campaign is that she tends to win big when turnout is low. That's not someone you want to put up against the Republican in a general election, considering the fact that their numbers are pretty high when it comes to turnout. So this is really scary. Now, basically, this crowd of 33% is in direct reference to the Bernie or Bust crowd. Now, a lot of people have been wanting me to talk about this, so let's do it. So here's the thing about the Bernie or Bust crowd. Their existence is good for this race, because just how Donald Trump threatens to run as a third-party candidate keeps the RNC in check from being too corrupt, well, the Bernie or Bust crowd keeps the DNC from doing too many corrupt tactics. If they tip the scales in favor of Hillary Clinton too much, then that could upset many Bernie Sanders supporters. So just kind of having that check keeps them from getting too corrupt for the most part, although they've largely ignored Bernie Sanders supporters. Now, many people want to know, Mike, are you Bernie or Bust? I've had the questions on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. I really feel like I don't have to think about that unless the time comes where it's a certain reality. There are good reasons to support Bernie or Bust, and there are bad reasons to support Bernie or Bust, just objectively speaking. So furthermore, here's the thing. If you don't support Hillary Clinton, particularly if you're in a swing state, well, then you would assure that a Republican would win, potentially, and then they would appoint the next probably 3 Supreme Court justices, and that could be problematic. But on the other side of the coin, if you do support Hillary Clinton no matter what, and you're a Bernie Sanders supporter, then you're basically giving the Democratic Party permission to move even further to the right than they already have, and you're basically allowing them to put forth these centrist, corporatist Democrats and vote for them no matter what. So they're going to continue to abuse you. Now, Hillary Clinton supporters, they'll use this condescending trick and say, oh, what, you're not going to support Hillary Clinton? You're going to vote for Donald Trump? No, that's not the only option, and I'm offended that you would assume I would ever vote for any of those despicable Republicans, because let me just say, all 4 of the Republican candidates are not just bad candidates for the presidency, they're despicable human beings. The racism, the theocratic nature of them, the way that they won't even acknowledge climate change it's bad, not just for the presidency. It's bad for the human race, because all these idiots deny climate change. I'm realistic about this. I know that if I cast a vote for a third-party candidate, specifically the Green Party, I would probably vote for Jill Stein if I were to do that. I know that there would be no chance that she'd be elected given our current electoral system. Now, look, people will say, Mike, you say we're in a 2-party system. That's not true. We have more parties. Right, but the way that you measure it in terms of political science terms, because I study electoral engineering as part of my degree, is you have to look at the effective number of political parties that we have. So when you look at it that way, how many parties are actually electorally viable, we live in a 2-party system. And if you really want electoral change, you have to push for electoral reform, and that's what I want. I would prefer a proportional representation system, because I think that the U.S. has really diverse ideological preferences, and 2 parties just isn't sufficient. Now, this is a thing called Duverger's law. In majoritarian systems, it's always going to push down on the number of parties you have. So when you vote third party, here's what you do. You send a message to the Democratic Party that you're not going to support their centrist corporatist candidate. You support a candidate that actually represents your views. And even though they most likely won't receive this message or give a shit, still, it's a very symbolic gesture. Now, this is either called, when you vote for a third party in a 2-party system, this is called either vote wasting or it's called vote protesting in political science terms. Now, the term vote wasting seems like actually a lot worse than it is. What it just means is that you vote waste because the vote that you cast will not actually go to the winning candidate. You vote waste in a lot of states. Like, for example, if you vote for a Republican in a blue state, you basically vote waste because there's no chance that you're going to get representation given the current political climate. So, am I Bernie or Bust in the end? I don't know. I'm not going to think about that until the end. Just currently speaking, I would probably lean towards voting for Jill Stein in protest. But in the end, I don't know. I might support Hillary Clinton depending on the candidate that is up front. This is a personal decision, and it's one that I don't want to have to make. I'm going to think long and hard about it if it comes to that. But for right now, I'm putting that out of my head. I'm not worrying about who I'm going to vote for if Bernie Sanders loses, because right now he still has a chance. We can still win this thing. He's not out of the running yet. So that's what I'm going to focus on rather than the Bernie or bust movement. But getting back to this, the 33% statistic is so bad for Hillary Clinton. It's so bad for her. So she's got to stop attacking Bernie Sanders. She's got to do her best to win over his supporters if she wants any chance of winning in the general election. So she's got to stop running this dirty smear campaign.